Hey, what's up, everybody? Brent from Brenspeed. Thanks so much for watching Brenspeed TV. Today is something cool. You've been asking for it. I have a stock 3-valve Mustang, or maybe it's mildly modified. What are the best parts to install on my naturally aspirated 3-valve Mustang to make some power? Now, maybe you don't want to do what I have behind me right here, which what was a 3-valve. We're talking Coyote swap, Roush supercharged. Maybe that's not for you, but today I'm going to go upstairs in the office and I'm going to go over the top 5, 6, or maybe 7 mods to do your 3-valve Mustang from bone stock to fully built, naturally aspirated without digging too much down into the engine. So hey, if you haven't, please hit subscribe, hit notify to stay up to date. I have Doug with me. Let's go upstairs and get this started right now. All right, we're just going to get right to it. So here's what we have going. So hey, if you haven't met me before or watched my videos, my name is Brent. I own Brenspeed. We are located in Indiana. We have a website called Brenspeed.com, and we've been building Mustangs for almost 20 years. You can get on our website. We can ship the parts right to you or come in for an install. I will put a link at the end of this video so you can watch shop tour videos to see what our shop looks like, because you're going to see a lot of cool stuff. But right now, we're going to talk about what are the best mods for your stock 3-valve Mustang. Now, I got my first 3-valve Mustang back in December of 2004. It was so cool when those cars came out, and I've been bonding them ever since. Now, we build Coyotes, GT350s, GT500s, all kinds of vehicles like that, but it's still today amazing that people that go out and buy a stock 3-valve Mustang, buy some parts from us, they're not quite sure what to get. So what this video today is about is what should you buy for your 3-valve Mustang. 5, 6, maybe 7 parts. I'm going to give you some advice, and believe me, this advice is good because I've done this for a long time. So the number one mod you want to buy for your 3-valve Mustang is an intake and tune. Now, I'm going to speak like you have no idea what I'm talking about. So what's an intake and tune? So first, a tune is when we write a calibration for your 3-valve Mustang, set up for whatever octane you want to run. Maybe it's 87, maybe it's 93. Obviously 93, you're going to get more power, but we load those calibrations on what we call an SCT programmer. I have a couple examples of them right here. This is an SCT X4. This is an SCT BDX. What's the difference in these? As far as the tune that we write and put on this programmer and ship to you, the tunes are the same. But this is a little bit more simpler. This one right here is what they have cloud technology. So what that means is, if down the road you want to get a revision for some of these parts we're getting ready to talk about, we can upload it to a cloud. You can put this bad boy on Wi-Fi, download the tune, and load it on your car. You don't need a desktop computer to do that or a laptop. With the X4, we can do the exact same thing. We can revise your tune. We can email it to you. It's normal. We do this every day. You download it to the device, load the updated tune on the car. That's probably the biggest difference in these two right here. Cloud technology on the BDX, straight through email on the X4. Let's talk about the cold air intake. When I say intake and tune, my all-time favorite, it has been for a long time, is the JLT Series 3 for multiple reasons. It's really good quality. It has a very good price point, and it's a huge, right here, 110 millimeters. And why is that important? Well, as you mod your car down the road, you're going to want a larger opening coming in the air induction to make more power. Now, you might have heard about air intakes that are no tune required. This is an example of one right here. It's a BBK. You can just buy one of these from us, put it on your car, and not get a tune. These are tune required. We have to adjust for this. And a lot of the other intakes we sell, but BBK, K&N, S&B, no tune required. But if you can see, there's a huge diameter difference right there. And if you're a guy down the road, a girl down the road, you're going to want a lopey camshaft or make the max power possible. You want to stay away from something smaller like this. You just want to put it on, get a little bit of a power gain. Nothing wrong with this right here. Put it on, no tune required, but I love the JLT. So step one, JLT air intake called the Series 3. We stock these. As a matter of fact, every part I'm going to show you today we do have in stock. You can get on Brenspeed.com. We ship it right to your door. Give us a call, and I will put a link in the description of every part we're going to talk about, so you can read more about it on the website, as well as that'll have our phone number, everything like that. But Series 3 is the way to go. If you don't want to touch anything, put a BBK, K&N, no tune required. And my biggest favorite of these two is probably the X4. I feel like it's a little more easy. It's older, so I've used these for so long. The BDX is newer, but this is becoming a big fan to a lot of people. So if you like that whole cloud technology, you'll like that right there. The next thing we're going to talk about are headers. I'm going to show you what your exhaust manifold looks like, and I'm going to show you what a set of long tube headers looks like. And we're going to keep going and going and going down every part I suggest for your 3-valve Mustang. I'm going to try to go through the order that I think maybe you should do it, as well as I might talk about why maybe one over the other. So that's going to be cool for you. But these right here, tune, Series 3 cold air intake, 20-25 horsepower. Your throttle response is going to be amazing different over what it is right now. Ton of throttle lag on the stock PCM on the 3-valve Mustang. Open up the air induction. So we're looking like, let's say 25 horsepower. Torque management's adjusted. Rev limiters, speed limiters, everything in the calibration is tweaked. And like I said, been doing this since basically 2005. We got the first vehicle December 2004. So this is our calibration anyways, highly advanced over, what maybe comes on one of these. Because you can buy these from a lot of places. They have what's called preloads. It's just a tune on it. You plug it in your car, you get the tune. That's not what we sell. You're getting a Brenspeed calibration. Doug, let's check out some long tubes. All right, next up, next mod. Now, it's kind of a tie. So some of us here have different opinions on your second mod. I'm a big fan of long tube headers. I'm also a big fan of Lopi idle camshafts. Now, either one could be your next mod. Now, if you live in an area where you could do a set of long tubes, I really like that because they really enhance the power the cams are going to make. But a lot of people maybe already have some shorty headers and high flow mid pipe, so they'll jump in straight to the Lopi cams. But we're going to talk right now about headers, and then I'm going to show you camshafts. So what does headers, or what do they look like, or what's your stock exhaust manifold look like? This is an 05 to 10 Mustang stock exhaust manifold. You can just look at it and see, kind of looks like a shorty header in a way, and that's why shorty headers don't make much of a power improvement, because these really aren't bad for that stock 05 to 09 300 horse engine, or the 10 was rated at 315. That's only because of a cold air induction change they made. But this is what your stock manifold looks like. And why can you get a nice amount of power out of a set of long tubes? So, probably the most popular we sell. Now, we sell a lot. BBK, pipes, cooks, all right? The most popular, I'm just telling you what we sell a lot of, based off of like web orders or anything, are pipes. They're 304 stainless steel. They look good. They fit great. They're 1.5/8". This is what we're switching to. So you just went from this right here to this right here. All right, way more flow, letting the exhaust out. Exhaust, we have two choices of mid pipes on these. We have them in stock. You can get what's called a catted H or a catted X. And a lot of people don't know what's H, what's X. Here's basically the difference. So your exhaust comes out, and then you go through an X pipe or H pipe. Essentially, there's a slight power difference. I think X, we're talking a couple more horsepower, a couple more torque, but H is going to give you the deeper muscle car sound. X is going to give you that higher pitched, raspy sound. So when someone asks me, or anyone here, what should I get, H or X? I wouldn't be worried about power or torque. What the sound, that's what it's all about. You drive your car every day. What sound do you want? You want deep, go for the H. You don't mind a little higher pitched, raspy, go for the X. But this is the pipes right here. The cooks look very similar to this. 304 stainless, polished. BBK do come out a little further down. So this is honestly what we would call a mid-length. I call it a long tube, but it's really a mid-length header. BBK would be more of a true long tube, but on the dyno, I've never seen a power difference between something like this, pipes, cooks, or BBK. Power, I'd say equivalent. Really good way to increase your torque, good way to increase power, and you're opening everything up for those set of cams. And you're getting rid of this right here. This is heavier than that. I mean, that's way bigger. This is heavier, that's cast. So losing weight's always a good thing. But that is the whole story on long tubes. That's my number 2 upgrade. Or like I said, cams could be the number 2 upgrade. So we got the 2-3 mix right there, but doesn't matter. Check out these camshafts. All right, next up, my favorite, Detroit Rocker camshafts. Now, hey, if you're still in on this video, we're on our way to add 100 horsepower to your stock 3-valve Mustang through all this mod list we're talking about right here. But these are the Detroit Rockers. I'm going to tell you a few things about them. I want to talk about some other cams on the market. But so this is back in 06. Comp Cams, huge company. And that's who grinds these for us. So they're high quality. They originally only had spring required camshafts because the mindset back in the day was if you're going to put a camshaft and an engine, you needed really big lift. We're not going to make power if we don't do that. But it's very tedious to install valve springs at the same time. We have lots of 3-valve Mustang cams that require that. But I went down to Memphis. I sat down with, I think George is with me. We sat down with their engineering department and said, look, let's design a camshaft that's no spring required. All right, let's just see what it makes. I mean, no one knows. And these cams came out killer. No spring required, which is awesome. And they make 25 to 30 horsepower. You get that muscle car lope. See, at the time, Comp, at right around the same time, they came out with what's called a thumper. And it was really lopey. It required phaser limiters, and the drivability was horrible. At the same time, we were working on these cams. Because the idea was people weren't really buying cams because, a lot of people couldn't afford to change the valve springs because the labor it took. So we designed the Detroit Rocker right here. Killer camshaft. Of course, you get 2. If you don't know, your engine has 2 cams in it. And 25 to 30 horsepower. These are what we call our naturally aspirated grind. I will talk a little bit more about that. But no crazy variable cam timing like lockouts or limiters. Even from a tuning standpoint, we designed these to work around Ford's variable cam timing table. So you can buy these. You can go to your local tuner. He can put them in and tune these no problem. Ford Racing Hot Rod cams, they require special variable cam timing tables. Comp Cams, mother thumpers. Not only do they buck like crazy, but you have to totally tweak those cam timing tables for your limiters. But no lockouts, no nothing required. Bolt these things in, make good power. And I want to hit real quick on something. These are what we call the naturally aspirated grind. So this is, of course, what you'd put in your naturally aspirated car. But let's say maybe down the road you might want to get a blower because we also have a supercharged grind. So this is the grind we use if you have a Paxton, Vortec, Pro Charger. Because your low end, before you get in a boost, is going to be awesome. This is what we'll use. If you came in and you had any of those blowers and you wanted cams, we're going to put this on your car. Now, if you came in and you already had like a Whipple, a Roush, or some sort of twin screw TVS, Eaton style blower, we're going to use our supercharged grind because they will make a couple more horse. They will make a couple more torque than this grind right here. But the problem is, if you don't know down the road you're going to get a blower, or you think, hey, in 6 months, I think I'm going to get a blower, but you're not for sure, should I get the supercharged grind? Because I think I'm going to get something down the road, and I'm going to want that. Don't do it, because this is so close to supercharged grind. There's no reason to put the supercharged grind in if you don't have the blower. Because what will happen is a supercharged grind in your NA car will have a pretty big torque loss. Now, once you get that blower, it's killer. But you put this cam in right now, it's going to be kick-ass. It's going to be better than a hot rod or a thumper. But then even when you get that blower down the road, I don't care if it's a TVS twin screw or centrifugal, let's say, you're going to be within a couple horse of that supercharger grind. And like I said, even if you had a centrifugal, you're going to want the NA grind anyway. So that's a Detroit rocker. That'll be number 2 or 3 on my list. Decide if you can get the headers or not, and then get this. They all complement each other. Easy 25 to 30 horsepower. I love these cams. Nice muscle car lope, which we love, but you don't get that bucking driving down low RPM. You don't get poor drivability. They're a killer setup. So what's next after these 3 mods we just talked about? A little further in induction. We've already got a cold air. We've already got a tune. Let's look at the intake manifold. Let me show you what a stock intake manifold looks like. Now you can mod it to make even more power. Let's go on to the next one. All right, I'll tell you what. If you're still around in this video, thank you, because you must love 3-valve Mustangs, or maybe you have one you just got. And you know what? No better way to learn than watching something like this. And you know what? I have videos that are like, how much is too much miles if I want to buy a supercharger, or how much is too much power in my stock engine. That's why you need to subscribe, and that's why you need to go through our playlists to you can watch all those videos and you will learn a lot. But next up, it's the manifold, or it says delete plates. I'm going to explain what this is. So if you have an 05 to 08 Mustang, you could do a manifold, throttle body, or delete plates. But if you have an 09 to 10 Mustang, because of the way your manifold was molded, you can't get these delete plates. You're going to have to jump straight to the Ford Racing manifold and throttle body. So here's what we have going. Next mods, we've done cams, we've done headers, we have the JLT, we have a tune. Everything's opened up. Now I want to open up the stock manifold. So I love, this is the Ford Racing manifold. It has a little bit different runner length. It's going to change your power band a little bit. It's way better at high RPM, and it flows a lot more. And we don't have what we call the butterflies. They're in the stock manifold. And you probably have no idea what those are. But in a minute, I'm going to flip this over and show you what's in your stock manifold that's restrictive. But if you have an 05 to 08 Mustang, and you have what's going to be on this manifold, I'm going to show you right here. You have an option to just get what's called Stetera billet delete plates. We stock these, and this is huge flow increase for awesome horsepower and torque. But you have 2 choices right here. And then what's left? You've done the induction. You've done either delete plates, or you've done the manifold. This is the Ford Racing throttle body. You know, Ford Racing honestly changed their name to Ford Performance, but these still say Ford Racing on them. But it's a twin 62. Comes with all your electronics. Why do I like this over a BBK? Well, a BBK throttle body does cost way less, but you have to transfer over your TPS and your electronics to that when you install it on the car. And I'm going to tell you honestly, from tech support we do on the phone, 50% of people typically mess that up and the car won't run right. So these are set up from the factory, bolted on, and we do tune for this, but it just makes your life way easier. Does it cost more? Yes. Does it look better? Yes. But it complements this intake manifold, or it said delete plates, so good. I think it's awesome. I'm going to get the delete plates out of the way. I'm going to get the throttle body out of the way, because I want to show you what the bottom of this intake manifold looks like. You know, the Ford Racing. I think I'll flip that over as well. I'm going to have Doug pick the camera up, if this works, come down and show you what are IMRCs. What are these butterflies we're talking about? And I'm going to talk to you about what do they do. But before he comes down, what do IMRCs do? So they are there for a purpose on your stock 300 horse Mustang at very light throttle. They are literally almost no airflow going through this. What that does is it creates a sense. This is a sense of pretty good low end torque at light throttle, but it's deceiving. You have to remember, there's no throttle cables on these cars anymore. This is drive-by-wire. You're going to feel like these plates in here, your car has pretty good low end. And when you delete them, like this right here, or delete plates, you might feel like, oh, I got some low end loss. I promise you, from dynoing these cars for so many years, you don't have a low end loss with these. On the dyno, wide open throttle, 15 RPMs, no low end loss. But you will need a different pedal position to achieve the same torque you're used to. So if you take these off and you put on delete plates, or you get this manifold and you feel like I got to get a little bit more gas to have the same torque, that's normal because these plates are gone. But guess what? As that throttle goes down and you're wanting to make power, get rid of these things. It's awesome. They'll come down, take a look. These are the butterflies. They're in there from the factory. Let's look right over here. And they're valves. And these valves open and close. I mean, that's what they do. So you can, basically, this is closed. They open at about 3,000 RPM. But look, it's 75% restrictive. So we want to get rid of that. That's what we want to do right there. So they're called IMRCs, but they open just like that right there. So you go wide open throttle about 3,000, they'll open up. And there's still restriction because they're right in the way, they're in the middle. But that's what they are. So one of the old school things we've always done is get rid of those. And you can get the manifold that already has them gone. Or we can get the delete plates if you have an 05 to 08. But if you have an 09 or 10, why can't I buy the delete plates? I wish you could. But what Ford did is, this is cast right here. They literally made the manifold plastic longer. So it went all the way up. And they put the butterflies in it so you can't take them off. So back in the day, I'm never going to go into it. There was a fix for that, but they're discontinued. So I'm going to talk about it. So you could buy an 05 to 8 manifold and put delete plates on. No problem. They'll fit right on your 9 and 10 Mustang, or jump straight to the killer Ford Racing manifold. So next up are Stetera underdrive pulleys. And I put these on the last for a reason. But honestly, it's something you could do in the first. So let's check those things out. All right, this has been a long one. Thanks so much for sticking around. But last but not least, Stetera underdrive pulleys for your naturally aspirated 3-valve Mustang. They do fit 05 to 10. I'm going to tell you what they do and why I put it last, but why you could also do it first. So, what are Stetera underdrive pulleys? You get, what's cool, SFI approved crank pulley. You're going to get a new water pump pulley. And these aren't very expensive. Bolt them right on your stock car, right off the showroom floor, bone stock. And you get an installation bolt. I want to tell you something about this. This is called an install bolt. It's long. It's used to draw your crank pulley up on the crank. Then you take that bolt out and use your new crank bolt to draw the pulley in. Because if you torque this thing, this install bolt, all the way down, this is not in all the way, and you could try to loosen this and snap it off. So you just use it, draw the pulley on a little bit, take it out, no big deal, switch to your new crank bolt. They are torque to yield. You want to use a new bolt. Don't use your stock one. But what do pulleys do? Why do you want them? Well, it's a 25% reduction in like spinning the accessories. And a lot of people think, oh my God, my car is going to overheat. Well, it's not. A 3-valve Mustang's pretty advanced. You can reduce your accessories by 25%. You're not going to overheat. You're not going to do anything. But why do these make power? So think back to the old days. So back in my Fox body Mustang days where I started, I would bypass when I was at the track the AC compressor, the power steering pump. I would run a belt around my crank pulley, water pump, alternator only, and drop like 1/10 in the quarter mile. This is essentially doing the exact same thing. You're just slowing your accessories down. When you spin all those accessories on the front of your engine, you're using power. So if you can slow down how fast you're spinning them, you're going to gain power. About 10 horse on these. Pretty easy. For the price of these things, and you can put them on a stock car. But why do I say maybe last? Well, I'm going to say a lot of people that buy all these bolt-on parts we talked about, buy superchargers down the road, you have to take these back off. You can't use them. Because if you think about this, your alternator, your AC, you're slowing everything down 25%, well, you're going to slow your supercharger down too. So if you have these on your car, you're buying a blower, take them off, put on stock ones, you're going to have way less boost. So let's just say your blower is supposed to be 8 pounds of boost, but you have these on, you have like 5 pounds of boost. So you don't want these on with the blower. So I usually say last, like if you did all those mods and you're like, okay, I'm staying NA, I love underdrive pulleys because it's a very easy way. Just bolt them on. You can do it at home. We can do it here at Brenspeed, Indiana, but you can bolt these on. They do come with instructions, and it's a really easy way to drop about a tenth in the quarter mile, get about 10 horsepower. But it's a sweet setup, but it's kind of a waste of money if you put them on now, and then in 3 months, let's say you buy a Paxton Novi Killer 2200, you're gonna have to take these back off, and then of course you can sell them, get some money out of them. So that's the Stetera underdrive pulleys. I hope you liked watching this video of the top mods. Something I didn't go into were cooling mods. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I'm a huge fan of that. I'm not going to drag out like radiators and stuff today because they're not really like parts that bolt to the engine. But the cooler the engine is, the more power you make. So 160 like Brenspeed thermostat, our Ford Racing high flow fan, our big radiator. I mean, all that stuff helps. Remember, cooler engine, the happier it is, the more power you're going to make. But those are the go fast parts for naturally aspirated. Pretty easy way to add about 100 horsepower to your stock 3-valve Mustang if you're not going to go supercharged. And don't forget, check all those playlists we have because it's going to talk all about what's too many miles, what's too many miles for a blower. If I want to get a blower, how much is too much power. Plus, you're going to see tons of other naturally aspirated Mustang videos of all the parts we talked about today, supercharged videos. So please subscribe and notify to stay up to date. And if you just bought a Mustang, congratulations, that's awesome. 3-valve Mustangs are cool. Hey, I love Coyotes, but I love 3 valves. I grew up on them, and they still have lots of potential. Thanks for watching.